I'm pregnant with your baby. She lied to stop me from leaving after she cheated. I demanded immediate testing. She admitted to 5 other men, and none of us are the father. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I used to think love was about patience, about waiting for the other person to meet you halfway, even if it took longer than it should. That's what I told myself for 2.5 years with Emma. When we met, she was still picking up her life after a messy breakup. She was charming in that slightly chaotic way, always talking about healing and finding herself, but never really sure what that meant. I didn't mind. I wanted to be the guy who made her feel safe again. She called me steady. She said I was the first man who didn't make her anxious, who didn't yell, who didn't cheat. I believed her when she said she wanted stability. What I didn't realize back then was that to her, stability only felt comforting until it got boring. We moved in together after a year. I handled most of the bills, groceries, small repairs, the usual. She bounced between part-time jobs and creative projects. She said she just needed time to figure out what she was passionate about. I didn't push her. I thought giving her that space was what a good partner did. But somewhere around the second year, things started feeling different. She got more secretive with her phone. The phone that used to live on the couch next to her suddenly never left her hand. I'd catch her turning the screen away when I walked by, or laughing at messages she wouldn't explain. When I asked, she'd roll her eyes. Do you seriously not trust me? It's just my friends from work. God, you're paranoid. That word, paranoid, became her favorite defense. I started hearing it every time I tried to talk about anything that bothered me. When she started staying late at work, she framed it as ambition. You're always saying I should take things seriously, she said. Now I'm actually doing it. But it didn't add up. Her work clothes started looking more like outfits you'd wear to a bar, not an office. She smelled like perfume I hadn't bought her. Still, I didn't confront her right away. I didn't want to be that guy who jumps to conclusions. I told myself maybe I was overthinking it. That's what patience looks like, right? Trust? The small things piled up, though. I'd find unfamiliar receipts in her bag, bars, restaurants in parts of town we never went to. One night, I woke up at 2 a.m. and saw her sitting on the balcony, whispering into her phone, laughing softly. When she noticed me, she jumped like she'd been caught doing something illegal. Couldn't sleep, she said quickly. Was just talking to Maya. She's going through stuff. Except Maya posted a story 10 minutes later, sound asleep, with her boyfriend snoring next to her. That was when the first real crack appeared in how I saw her. But I didn't say anything that night. I just lay awake, staring at the ceiling, realizing that maybe love isn't about patience. Maybe it's about paying attention. I started noticing everything. The way she'd suddenly shower before running errands. The way she'd spend half an hour choosing an outfit just to grab coffee with a friend. The way she'd lock her phone even inside our apartment and flinch when a notification came through. There was one moment that stuck with me. The one where I think I finally knew, deep down, that something was happening. She was getting ready to go out with coworkers. She stood by the mirror, touching up her lipstick, and asked, "Do I look too much?" I said, "You look great." "Who's going?" She didn't look up. "Just some people from marketing." "Anyone I know?" She hesitated. "You don't. It's mostly new people." Then she smiled at herself in the mirror, but it wasn't the smile she used to give me. It was like she was practicing it for someone else. She came home late that night, later than she'd ever stayed out before, and smelled like whiskey and cologne that wasn't mine. I remember sitting on the couch, pretending to be asleep when she stumbled in. I could have confronted her right then, but I didn't. I just felt tired, like I'd already lost, and I didn't even know what the score was. The next morning, she kissed me on the cheek and said, "You're too good to me." It was supposed to sound sweet, but it came out as guilt. That was the moment I decided I was done ignoring the truth. I started quietly collecting evidence, phone bills, receipts, screenshots of work nights that didn't line up. I didn't plan to explode or yell. I just wanted to know. And eventually, I did. It wasn't one man. It was several. Messages that read like rehearsed lies, timestamps that overlapped, half-naked photos that made me sick to my stomach. But I didn't scream. I didn't throw her out. I just looked at her across the kitchen table one night and said, "I know." She froze, like the word alone had pulled the floor from under her. That was the moment she realized I wasn't guessing anymore. And for the first time in our relationship, she didn't know what to say. The night I told her I knew, she didn't even try to play dumb. She just froze, mid-bite, fork hanging in the air, and stared at me like she was calculating how much I'd found out. "What do you mean?" she asked finally, voice too steady to be natural. "I mean, I know you've been cheating," I said. "You don't need to pretend." She laughed, but it came out thin and nervous. "You're insane. You've been acting weird for weeks. Are you seriously stalking me now?" I slid my phone across the table. The screen lit up with her messages, screenshots, dates, photos. I'd organized everything. I didn't even raise my voice. Her eyes darted over the screen, her face draining of color. Then she did what she always did when cornered, turn it back on me. "I can't believe you went through my stuff. Do you even realize how violating that is?" "I didn't go through anything," I said. "You left your phone on the counter while you were in the shower. The notifications did the rest." She looked down, jaw tightening. For a second, I thought she'd finally admit it, maybe even apologize. But instead, she sighed and shook her head like I was the one ruining everything. "It was just texting," she said quietly. "It didn't mean anything. You've been distant lately, and I just needed someone to talk to." I didn't answer. I just let the silence hang there until she started fidgeting. Then she blurted out, "Fine. Yes, okay. I messed up, but it wasn't serious. It just happened once, and I stopped it. I didn't want to hurt you." "Once?" I asked. "Because there are 5 different names in those messages." Her eyes widened. She looked caught off guard. Not that I knew, but that I'd counted. "Who told you?" she asked, her voice cracking. "No one had to tell me," I said. "You left a trail." She stood up, pacing, hands shaking. "You don't understand. I was lonely. You're always so calm, so controlled. I felt invisible. You never fight for me. You never get jealous. I just wanted to feel wanted again." "That's not loneliness," I said. "That's entitlement." That hit her. She froze, then looked at me with tears in her eyes, the performance kicking in. "Please, don't say that. You're the only person who ever really cared about me." "I did," I said. "Right up until now." I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and started pulling clothes from the closet. She followed me in, panic rising in her voice. "Wait. Where are you going?" "I'm leaving," I said. "You can keep the apartment until the lease ends. I'll sort out my stuff later." She grabbed my arm. "You can't just walk away. We can fix this." "I don't want to fix it." And then she said it, the line that made my stomach drop. "I'm pregnant." I stopped cold. "What?" She wiped her eyes, trembling just enough to make it look believable. "I found out 2 weeks ago. I didn't know how to tell you. Please, don't do this right now. I need you." For a full minute, I just stared at her. My brain couldn't decide what to feel: anger, disbelief, confusion. 2 weeks ago," I said slowly. "You were still sleeping with other people 2 weeks ago." Her expression flickered, just for a second, enough to show she hadn't thought that far ahead. Then she doubled down. "It doesn't matter. I know it's yours. I just know. You're the one I love." I could have yelled. I could have said something cruel. Instead, I took a deep breath and said, "Then you won't mind getting tested." Her whole face changed. The tears stopped instantly, replaced by this look of alarm she couldn't hide. "Are you serious? You don't trust me at all? You think I'd lie about something like that?" "I think you already did," I said. "So yes, I want a test." She shook her head, voice rising. "You're stressing me out, and it's bad for the baby. I can't believe you treat me like this when I'm scared and vulnerable." "Emma," I said quietly, "you cheated. You lied. And now you're telling me you're pregnant. You don't get to play the victim here." Her breathing got shallow, her eyes darting like she was trapped. Then, out of nowhere, she switched tactics again, desperation replacing anger. "Please don't leave me," she whispered. "You don't understand how bad this will look. My parents will never forgive me. I need you. Just stay, at least until the baby's born." "I'm not staying anywhere until I know the truth." I walked past her, grabbed my keys, and headed for the door. She called after me, voice breaking now. "If you walk out, you'll never see me or your child again." I stopped, turned around, and said, "Then make sure I'm the father first." Then I left. That night, she sent me 15 texts, crying, apologizing, begging, threatening. I didn't reply to a single one. I just sat in my car, parked a few blocks away, staring at the streetlights until sunrise, realizing that the woman I thought I loved had just invented a life to keep me trapped in a lie. And I wasn't going to play along. The next few days were a blur of silence. I didn't block her, but I didn't answer either. Her messages ranged from pleading to furious, like she was trying on every emotion to see which one might still work on me. By day 3, she switched to guilt. "Please," she texted. "You're abandoning your child before it's even born. How can you be so heartless?" I just stared at the screen. I didn't reply, but I did call my lawyer the same day. He wasn't a family attorney, but he had enough connections to get me the right referral. I explained the situation as clinically as I could. The cheating, the sudden pregnancy, the timing. The attorney didn't even sound surprised. "Happens more often than you'd think," he said. "You did the right thing by not engaging. We'll arrange for a formal request for paternity testing once she confirms the pregnancy through her doctor." That was the thing. I wasn't even sure she was pregnant. When we'd been together, she'd never missed a period without making a big deal about it. Now she was supposedly 2 weeks in, with no proof beyond her word. So I waited. She posted a few vague quotes on her social media. Things like, "Sometimes people leave when you need them most, and trust is everything until it's gone." Her friends flooded the comments with sympathy. I didn't say a word. 2 weeks later, she showed up at my place uninvited. I opened the door, and there she was, eyes puffy, wearing one of my old hoodies like it meant something. She held out a folded piece of paper. "It's from my doctor," she said. I took it. The printout said estimated 5 weeks pregnant. No name on it, just a clinic logo and a date. "You didn't even let them put your name on the form?" I asked. She hesitated. "It was a walk-in appointment. They don't always do that right away." I handed it back. "Then I'll wait for the real documentation. When you have a verified report under your name, I'll pay for the DNA test myself." Her face hardened. "You think I'm making this up? I think you've already lied to me 5 different ways. So yeah, I'm not taking your word for it." She glared at me, then shifted to that soft, broken tone again. "I'm just scared, okay? I didn't mean for any of this to happen. You used to care about me. I thought that meant something." "It did," I said, until it stopped. She left in tears. I didn't feel relief, just exhaustion. That night, I got a call from an unknown number. When I answered, a man's voice said, "You don't know me, but I'm guessing we have something in common." He introduced himself as one of the guys she'd been seeing, a co-worker I'd met once, briefly. He sounded uneasy, like he'd been rehearsing what to say. "She told me she was pregnant," he said. "Said it might be mine." I didn't believe her, but she said she needed help covering some appointments. My stomach turned. "When did she tell you that?" "About a week ago. But then she told someone else at work the same story, that he might be the father. That's how I found out about the others." "How many others?" I asked. He sighed. "For that I know of. Maybe more. Look, I'm not trying to start drama, but you should know she's been saying whatever she needs to whoever will listen." After we hung up, I just sat there in the dark for a long time. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. The next morning, I texted her. "If you're serious about this, send me your doctor's information. I'll verify everything directly and arrange testing once possible. If not, don't contact me again." It took her 12 hours to respond. When she did, it was one line, "Forget it. It's not yours anyway." No explanation. No follow-up. Just that. But a few days later, word got around that she'd been forced to admit the truth. Apparently, she'd told so many overlapping stories that someone finally confronted her at work. Under pressure, she confessed. There were 5 different men, none of them certain, and the pregnancy was a bluff she thought would make me stay. When a mutual friend told me all this, I didn't feel vindicated. I just felt strangely free, like I'd been holding my breath for months and finally exhaled. I didn't reach out to her again. Didn't post, didn't gloat, didn't warn the others. I just deleted her number and kept going. For the first time in a long time, peace wasn't something I had to fight for. It was just what happened when the noise stopped. A week later, I heard she'd been suspended from work. Apparently, HR got involved after one of her coworkers filed a complaint. She'd been spreading conflicting stories, trying to pit the men she'd been involved with against each other. Someone finally reported her for harassment after she accused him of abandoning their baby. When the truth came out, that there was no baby, no pregnancy, just manipulation, she was sent home, pending review. A mutual friend texted me, "Dude, she's melting down. I've never seen someone burn every bridge that fast." I didn't respond. I'd stopped participating in the gossip. Instead, I focused on fixing the mess she'd left in my own life. I canceled the shared phone plan, removed her from the lease, and switched my number. I even changed gyms, not out of fear of seeing her, but because I didn't want any reminders of that version of my life. It's strange how fast peace starts to feel normal again once you stop feeding chaos. About 3 weeks later, she reached out from a new number. Her first message was short. "I know you hate me. I just want to talk." I didn't answer. A few hours later, another text came. "Please. I need closure. I'm sorry. I was scared you'd leave and I panicked. It was stupid, but I didn't mean to hurt you." Then, a voice message. Her voice cracked halfway through. "You were the only person who ever really cared about me, and I ruined it. I know that now. Everyone at work hates me. My family won't even talk to me because they think I'm some kind of monster. I just need to hear your voice, please." I didn't listen to the rest. The next day, my buddy Ryan sent me a screenshot. She'd posted another cryptic Instagram story, a black screen with white text. "Sometimes the people who claim to love you the most are the first to abandon you." He captioned it, "Guess that's you, man." I just laughed. She's still playing the victim. Let her. 2 days later, she called from a blocked number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Evan." Her voice was quiet, shaky. "I just need a minute, please." I said nothing. "I know you don't trust me. I don't blame you. But I'm trying to fix my life. I just need someone who remembers who I was before all this. Can we just meet for coffee? No drama. No begging." "No," I said flatly. "Please. I just want to talk like adults. You had that chance a long time ago. You used it to lie about being pregnant." I said I was sorry, she snapped. "Do you want me to get on my knees and beg?" "No," I said again. "I just want you to leave me alone." There was a long pause. Then her tone shifted from pleading to bitter. "You think you're so perfect, don't you? Like you never did anything wrong. You think walking away makes you better than me." "I don't think about you at all," I said, and hung up. That was the last time I answered. After that, she tried everything. Emailing me from fake accounts, asking mutual friends to pass along messages, even showing up at my gym once. The manager escorted her out when she caused a scene. Eventually, she stopped trying. Months passed. I got promoted at work, started running again, and even reconnected with old friends I'd neglected. My life felt quiet, predictable, peaceful, everything she used to call boring. One evening, I got dinner with Ryan and his girlfriend. He told me she'd quit her job, moved back in with her parents, and was apparently working on herself. I didn't ask for details. That's the thing about closure. People think it's a conversation. It's not. It's a decision. And mine was simple. I'd already had all the conversations I needed. It had been almost 8 months since I last heard from her. By then, my life was simple again. Work was steady. I'd taken up hiking on weekends, joined a new gym, and even started seeing someone casually. Nothing serious, just easy company. I hadn't thought about Lauren in months. But karma has a funny sense of timing. One Saturday, I was at a friend's birthday dinner, a small group from my office and a few of their partners. Halfway through the evening, I heard a familiar laugh from across the restaurant. I looked up, and there she was. Lauren. She was sitting 2 tables away alone. Hair overstyled, makeup heavy, eyes tired in a way that no amount of concealer could fix. She looked up and froze when she saw me. For a second, I thought she might just look away and pretend not to notice me. But of course, she didn't. A few minutes later, she walked over. "Evan," she said softly. "Hey." I set my drink down and looked at her. "Hi. You look good," she said, her eyes flicking between my face and the woman next to me. "Thanks." She hesitated. "Can we talk for a second?" "Just privately." I glanced at my date, who gave me a small nod. "Sure," I said. I followed Lauren outside to the sidewalk. For a long moment, she just stared at me, wringing her hands. "You really look happy," she said. "I mean, genuinely happy. I didn't think I'd ever see you like that again." "Life's been good," I said. She nodded slowly. "I've been thinking a lot. About everything. About what I did. I know I can't take it back, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not for me, for you. You didn't deserve that. You were the only real thing I ever had, and I threw it away." Her voice cracked, and she tried to smile through it. "I was stupid. I thought I was being clever or protecting myself. But all I did was ruin something that was already good. I listened without interrupting. When she realized I wasn't rushing to comfort her, she took a deep breath and tried again. Look, I've changed. I've been in therapy, I've stopped drinking, I've cut off toxic people. I'm not that person anymore. Maybe we could grab coffee sometime. Just talk. I shook my head. No. She blinked, like she hadn't processed the word. Just coffee. That's all I'm asking. I don't have anything left to say, Lauren. Her voice hardened. So that's it. You just get to be happy, and I get to live with the fallout forever? I didn't get to be happy, I said. I built it. The same way I rebuilt everything you broke. That's not luck. That's work. Her jaw tightened. You make it sound so easy. It wasn't, I said quietly. But it was worth it. For a moment, she just stood there, looking smaller than I remembered. I miss you, she whispered. I looked at her, not with anger, not even with pity. Just clarity. You miss who you were when I loved you. That's not the same thing. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I nodded once, polite and final. Take care of yourself. Then I turned and walked back inside. She didn't follow. When I sat back down, my date asked, Everything okay? Yeah, I said, smiling faintly. Just a ghost from a past life. And for the first time since everything fell apart, I meant it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.